Hello and welcome to Market House, the podcast where we talk all things Disney. My name's Caleb.
And I'm Caitlin.
And this week we talk about cast members going on strike.
Hungry Bear retheme.
And a little life update. Let's dive in. All right, and this is episode number 140.
Yeah, welcome back as always, everybody.
Welcome back. First off, we were not here last week. We apologize. It was kind of a last-minute decision. We will get into that later as to why we didn't record. But it's been a couple of weeks since we've talked, so some things have happened in both personally, which we'll address later, and then also just crazy things in the world. There's just so much stuff going on. It feels like we're living in a movie.
I feel like there's been a lot of Disney updates as well.
A lot of Disney, a lot of crazy things in the normal world, and then a lot of Disney updates. So we'll address some of those today, not all of them, just because there's so much news all the time in the Disneyverse, but we will touch on some of those news stories today. But before we dive in, please consider joining us over on Patreon, markethousepodcast.com/support. It's also linked in the episode description, but thanks so much for all of those who support us over there. It really does mean the world. Again, just supporting us that way, both listening and also that you financially support us means the world. So thank you to all of our supporters over there. And please consider joining us over there if you are interested. And you also have bonus content as well.
That's true.
To listen to. There's also a little stuff over there so you can enjoy as well. Consider leaving a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Both are a huge help to the show. Also, please share this episode with a friend. If you've got a friend that you want to share some Disney love with, share with them, if I can speak, the show.
Yes, and also I just want to say a big thank you to all of you who've been messaging in recently and telling us that you've been loving the show and that you recently just found us. That truly makes our day, and it just makes us smile, I should say.
We're a little rusty.
Yeah, but just thank you so much. That happened I think a week ago, and I just got so excited to see that come through. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome, everybody.
All right, let's get into the news.
All right, first up, we have some Disneyland news. And for those who don't know, Disneyland is currently in a state of a bunch of construction. There's rethemes happening. Lands are partly closed. But we've got some recent updates that I'm not really sure how I kind of feel about it. The internet seems kind of torn. I've seen a ton of people who are super excited and diehards for this new retheme. And others are kind of concerned that it's going to kind of take away from the relaxing, chillness of this area and ambiance. So recently Disney just announced that Hungry Bear is getting a restaurant retheme, and it's going to be kind of transformed into the Country Bear Jamboree / Hungry Bear restaurant.
Yeah.
And again,
I don't know if I'm I guess I'm right in the middle of I guess we'll see.
Yeah. And I guess at the end of the day, it's not a negative thing. I don't why would they do that? I just kind of I agree that it needs a retheme, but I just don't know if that was the best route. We aren't the biggest fans of the show, but we have plenty of people that we know who love it. I do get a kind of a nervous feeling when I think about them retheming that because it doesn't really fit now. And now that you have Winnie the Pooh and Country Bear Jamboree, it just kind of feels like it's miscombobulated over there. And I saw someone online talk about how that's such a calm area with Winnie the Pooh, Hungry Bear's over there. And now with that new retheme, as we all know, Country Bear is very lively and upbeat. And people are worried that it's going to lose that element of relaxation over there. So
they're not adding the show, it's just the music.
No, just the music.
Yeah, so this is the Hungry Bear Barbecue Jamboree. Will feature music from various iterations of the Country Bear Jamboree. The menu will be inspired by the regional barbecue dishes the Country Bears discovered while on tour. So I guess I get what you're saying. The energetic, bumpy music is just going to kind of clash with that feeling. I think they're really leaning into Critter. They really want to add multiple critters to still fit Critter Country.
Yeah.
So Tiana's will be in Critter Country. You've got Pooh, and then you've got now more IP in there. To establish the Critter Country-ness of it.
Yeah, and then I also saw a chunk of people who are super excited about this retheme because they feel like it's going in the direction of Big Thunder Ranch that they used to have over by Big Thunder. Duh, better name. But they're kind of excited that they might bring some of the food elements that they served there.
Okay.
Now, I think it's great that they're going to be bringing barbecue over. That's awesome because, again, there's not a ton of options for barbecue in the park. So just having that kind of area that's going to be great. But I'm interested to see if it's going to be a heavy retheme or if they're just going to do slight touches.
Yeah.
just
Nothing
to update.
crazy, I bet.
But anyway, it's something new, so that's something exciting. So looking forward to seeing how that turns out.
Yeah, more information will be released in the coming weeks. All right, next up, we've got some more Disneyland news, and this one's kind of a negative and also maybe a positive. We can spin it into this might, change things for the better. But 4 Disney unions that represent 14,000 cast members have authorized a potential strike. So if you've seen I'm sure you've seen online at the parks, if you've been there recently or on TV, there's a lot of folks out there like picketing and walking around. They're basically asking for better wages. I'll get into what they're specifically asking for, but cast members are asking for it's time to negotiate their contract renewal basically with the unions. And so this is the time that they want to fight for certain things. And so they're making it known. And so the union basically approved a potential strike. This doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. This means that they have that option in their tool belt if they decide to do so. So they're in current negotiations. Monday, the day you're listening to this, they come back to the negotiation table, whatever, and they're going to try and kind of figure something out, these 4 unions and Disney themselves. These unions represent ride operators, store clerks, custodians, candy makers, ticket takers, parking attendants, and many other cast members. So this is like pretty much covers almost every single cast member in the park, I think, except for entertainers. So I think it's everyone but like live entertainment. Does that make sense? Okay. So they're all trying to get some better things here. They're negotiating for wage increases, increased safety measures, attendance policies, and other benefits. And this has all been happening since April. So I think they're kind of at their wits' end here, and that's why they said, hey, we have the option to strike now if you so please.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope something positive comes out of it.
Yeah.
I did see that they were kind of approved to strike kind of thing because they got so many signatures in order to do so.
99%. So I think everyone's in agreement.
Yeah, I didn't know that you had to have majority like signatures in order to do so. I thought you could just strike.
Yeah, we're not part of a union, so we don't know the inner workings of it, but that's what it looks like. If they vote to do so, they can. I really hope. I think they should take care of cast members. I don't know the details of all this. I don't consider myself qualified to talk on the matter, but I will just share that I hope that Disney takes care of their cast members. If they don't feel like they are taken care of, then they should probably resolve that. So hoping the cast members get a really good deal out of this, and Disney feels like they can accommodate, and we can all know that the cast members are being compensated fairly.
All right, for our last bit of news, we have some exciting news, potential, I might add. It looks like the Russo brothers might be returning to the Avengers franchise.
Yeah, so these 2 brothers, it's, Anthony and Joe Russo? They have a very long and storied and very successful Hollywood career. They actually, I think they wrote or produced Arrested Development, which is one of my favorite shows ever to exist. But then they made the pivot to like big action movies, which is good for them.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, they have directed Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Captain America: Civil War, Avengers: Infinity War, and Endgame. So all really, really, really good movies. They're in talks to return to direct the next 2 Avengers movies. The 5th Avenger movie is set to release on May 1st, 2026. This was supposed to be the one with, is it Khan?
I have no idea.
Right? And then Jonathan Majors got in some trouble, so I don't think they're going to move forward with that. So now it's like a untitled movie, Avengers movie. Yeah, Wrath of Khan.
I'm excited for them to come back, though. I mean, they've done such a great job with all the other ones, so that'll be good for them.
I know. So we're excited. Avengers coming back. I know people were kind of getting what was being shared online and stuff was like, okay, there was Marvel fatigue or Star Wars fatigue. So it looks like they're starting to come back with some heavy hitters, and hopefully they can bring a really good box office success for Disney in 2026. And that brings us to our main segment of this week's episode, and that is just a life update.
Yeah.
We thought this is a perfect time to kind of bring you up to speed on what we've been dealing with and why we missed last week, and just kind of be real for a minute and share what kind of the show is going to look like for the next few weeks. And we will get to that in a second, but I think you have something to share.
Yes, I do.
About?
So really quick, you're going to be like, wow, I thought we were doing a life update. Really quick, I want to talk about Halloween merch because obviously this is starting to come up.
It's part of our life, I guess. So.
Yes, all around the parks. And I know this isn't in our normal segment of Shop the Mouse, but it's just a quick little thing that I wanted to mention. This past week, the Mickey and Minnie Jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, which is the famous ones that Disney has released, I believe, for the past 2 or 3 years now. They're really big and like they like light up and they're awesome.
Yeah, we got like the Gen 1 version.
Yeah, and it almost looks like a disco ball
Yeah, and you can
inside.
hear the light go.
It's like yeah.
Yeah.
But it's such a cool thing, especially like to have during Halloween, like just seeing it like a window, and they're gigantic. So they're awesome. I just wanted to let you all know they did go on the Disney store this past week. They did sell out. They are $75 on the Disney store.
Good
They
grief.
used to be $64.99, so
Yeah.
there is a $10 price increase. However, I wanted to let you all know they haven't shown up at the parks yet. I'm assuming they will be returning to the Disney store. No one knows when, but they are very popular, so definitely stay tuned for that. But I want to let you know. So basically, long story short, Disney announced that these are going to be dropping at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So I texted Caleb's girlfriend. Well,
Last time I
Caleb's-
checked, I didn't have a girlfriend.
Caleb's
So.
brother's girlfriend, because we were both obsessed with Halloween and we've been planning to get these pumpkins and we're so excited. So we both jump on at 8 a.m. And what happened was is Disney put us in a kind of like waiting, what are they called? Like a
Virtual
lobby.
queue.
But it said on there like, hey, they're going to be ready at 11 a.m. And I'm like, 11 a.m.? They're supposed to be 8 a.m. So I'm sitting there. I'm like 2,200 and something in line. She finally pops on and she's like, I think she said like 4,000 or 7,000 or something. And I'm like, I guess we're here until 11. So turns out that was totally not true at all. We were in to purchase pumpkins within like a couple minutes. So it's super bizarre that popped up. I don't know if it was a glitch.
You mean 11 a.m. Eastern time, maybe?
11 a.m. It said at 11 a.m. Like these will be available at 11 a.m. Like when I popped on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there was no central, none of that.
Oh, weird.
So it just said 11 a.m. So
It
I'm
sounds like Disney. So
yeah. So I'm like, okay, but anyway, the queue was going down in numbers. I'm like, okay, well, this is popping up. Awesome. So I get on and I'm all excited because I want to get the Minnie Mouse one because as Caleb mentioned, we already have the Mickey one. Right when I pop on, I get an error message and I'm like, there's no way. It's 8:01. There's no way these are both gone. I'm frantically texting. I'm just going to call it our family member because if I keep saying Caleb's brother's girlfriend, I'm going to end up saying Caleb's girlfriend. So our family member, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're sold out. She's trying to get the Mickey one. And she's like, okay, I'm still in the queue. Like, I'm going to do whatever. So long story short, she ended up grabbing them. And I'm so thankful to her. I'm literally so excited because we have the Minnie Mouse pumpkin now. And as they sold out, that would have been such a bummer because you never know when they're going to come back.
Yeah. So in addition to the Minnie Mouse one, they have like a little one, right?
No, so they were supposed to. So that was what I was getting to.
Oh.
They were supposed to have a giant Mickey one, a giant Minnie one, and there was supposed to be like a little one, which they advertised. It almost looked like it was the size of like a basketball.
And who's the little one supposed to be?
It was just like a little Mickey one.
Oh.
So just a smaller one. And so, which is funny because she was originally going for that one, the small one. So we get on, they don't have the small one on there, even though they advertised it the day before, like, hey, all three of these are coming. So that was super bizarre.
Got it.
I have no idea what happened there. But where I wanted to get to, because this turned into a long story, when you buy the pumpkins online, there is an additional $5 handling fee that they charge per pumpkin. So in addition to if you're only buying one, you have to pay for shipping plus the $5 fee. So just keep that in mind. Definitely get the above the shipping amount so you don't have to pay for that. Because I think with tax and everything, it was almost like $90 for that pumpkin.
That's insane.
So it's
And
worth
we
it.
bought one?
We did, yeah.
Okay.
I grabbed one because I'm like, this is so fun. So
okay.
thankful to you. You know who you are. Love you so much. But I just wanted to kind of sprinkle that in because the Halloween season is coming. And if you're like me, you
I don't even want to talk about it. It's 103 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Not feeling it. Not even close. Okay, let's get past Halloween here. That is in a couple of months.
Yes.
Let's talk about life updates. So wanted to share some things here, why we missed last week, and then again, what the show is going to look like and why it's going to look that way. So Caitlin and I start was it a Tuesday morning?
It was Tuesday morning.
It's a Tuesday morning, just a normal July Tuesday morning, starting our day off, eating some breakfast, answering emails, hanging out with Maddie, and I miss a call, and I ignore it, and Caitlin gets a call like 2 minutes later from the same number. So we both look at each other and we're like, are you expecting something? Or is it
Yeah.
the doctor maybe for Maddie? Or so again, we kind of let it go. Someone leaves a voicemail for Caitlin, and you get the transcript on your phone, and you just say, you're like, okay, it's not good news. I need you to like just breathe. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm just trying to think of like what's a car's not in the shop. Like I'm trying to think of the negative news that I could be getting right now,
Yeah.
and nothing's coming to my brain.
Yeah.
And you say, or you play it.
Well, I read, and which again we'll say in a second, but I read the transcript, and you know when you kind of read something quickly because you're like, because right when it showed up the preview, it was a super long transcript, and I'm like, what is going on? Who is this person? And your eyes kind of like bounce around. Well, I saw some key terms.
Yeah.
And I literally, my heart sank into my stomach. I remember just looking at Caleb, trying to calm myself down, but basically telling him, like, just take a breath. Like, this isn't good news, and we're just going to have to take it day by day. But I'll let you take it away.
Yeah. So you shared with me that, and we played the voicemail, that the owners of our current home, this was the property management company calling us, but the owners of our current home are selling the property.
And that we need to be out in 60 days starting that day.
Yeah. You got a 60-day notice. This is the call, and you're going to get something dropped off at your door and get out in 60 days. Nice knowing you. And that was a what in the world? So we kind of expected something was going on a little bit in March timeframe because that's when we were supposed to renew our lease.
Mhm.
And so we never got anything. And I was like, hey, they came and did this like safety inspection. Someone from the office came in for 3 minutes to check the smoke detectors and said, all right, everything's good. We'll contact you in a little bit. Never was contacted, and I had a call, and they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, they don't want to renew the lease. They just want to go month to month. And I was like, that's not good. I don't like that. I'd like to lock in another 12 months. We have a baby. I just don't want the headache of moving. And we love the house we live in.
Love it.
Love it. It's
Mhm.
perfect for us, perfect size. We've got an office. Maddie's got her own thing. We brought Maddie home to this place,
Mhm.
which we'll get into in a second. But long story short, right when we heard that, it was like, are you kidding me? Moving is terrible, let alone when you don't want to move. And then we have a little one now, so that's just another
Yeah, and
curveball.
we kind of asked the what is it called? The rental people?
The property
The
manager.
property management, because they've obviously worked with this owner for quite some time. Like, hey, is this out of the norm? Like, should we be worried? And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, no. Like, this is totally normal.
Yeah, he's like, this is normal for them. They prefer month to month.
Yeah.
And
It's
you know,
totally okay.
we've had some people that lived in their houses month to month for years, like 5 years or 10 years or whatever. So like, don't even worry about it. So I didn't worry about it, and I should have been. So long story short, they are like selling the property. And in normal times, we would love to buy this home. Like,
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, like we're adults now. We've got a child. I feel like we should be buying homes.
Mhm.
Homes in plural, one home.
Mhm.
But yeah, interest rates and
Interest rates, man. Woo.
we live in if you're new to the show, we're in Sacramento, so we live in California. It's fairly relative to Southern California. Sacramento is fairly affordable compared to that, but relative to the US as a whole, it's very expensive to live here. So price of the home plus the interest rates, I was like, there is no way we could do this unless we had like $200,000 to put down in this home.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but I don't have $200,000 burning a hole in my pocket. So it was just one of those where we're just like, this isn't going to happen. So very upsetting, because let me tell you why. Moving is a pain. It's not because of that. It's the connection we had with this house, and we shouldn't have gotten this connected to it. I think it was the problem, as I was like slapping myself going, you shouldn't have got connected to a home you don't own. But like, we figured out 4 or 5 days after we moved in that we were pregnant,
Mhm.
and then brought Maddie home from the hospital to this house. And, you know, it was the infant stages here. It just, there's so many really good memories.
Oh, for sure.
And we do walks here, you know, so many walks. And we walk to the grocery
There's a lot
store.
of things around us. Yeah.
Yeah, with Maddie. And so many little things that we just love, and this rhythm we've gotten into that now is all getting disrupted. You know, it
Yeah.
just stinks.
We could go down memory lane like all day, but I think one of the major thing that's just kind of like, it's the time frame. And again, for those of you who have been in this situation, you know exactly how it feels. But for those of you who have not experienced this, it's one thing when you're really excited and you're wanting to move and you're like, hey, as a family, let's get out of here, or whoever you're living with, even if you're on your own. But when you're slapped with it, you need to be out of here in 60 days, especially in the area that we're in. Like, homes go within like a day or two. Like, if you're not the first person that applies, it's literally like it's done.
Yeah, it's very competitive. Yeah, it's growing like crazy around here. Bay Area folks are moving in. Lots of people are moving here, so it just adds another layer of stress.
Yes. So we have gone to, this was like a little over a week and a half ago. We've gone to countless homes already. We've applied for countless places. Well, there's one that we like really like that we're hoping to hear back. There was kind of like an open house situation for this rental, which was really bizarre to have. I'm used to that for when you buy a home.
Yeah, it was interesting. So normally they set off like, okay, just kind of ad hoc meetups. Like, okay, like we're interested in this. We applied, all
Yeah.
this stuff. Okay, do you want to see the home before you sign paperwork? And so we went and did this. You schedule it and all that stuff. This one, he was doing like 2 full days of just like anyone who wants to come by and see it,
Yeah.
which was, we weren't used to, because I'm like, what? Okay.
And of
Anyways.
course, it was the one that we really loved. So he's like, "Yeah, I'll get back to someone, whoever." And I'm like, "Oh,
So now
geez."
I've been refreshing my email like every 5 minutes,
Yeah.
waiting to see if we get an update, and we haven't yet.
So it's been a lot. And so we kind of took a break last week from the podcast, which was really nice because, as you know, it's a lot to do that. And again, for all of you who have been messaging us on Instagram, thank you so much for all your patience with getting back to comments and just messages on there and just checking in to make sure that we're good. I think I've gotten back to everyone as of today, so we should be good to go. But just wanted to say thank you for that. But in a nutshell, that's kind of been what we've been experiencing. It's just really tricky, and it's obviously the worst timing for this to happen because Caleb's getting ready to do a work trip, and we have some family trips coming up, and so
We literally have 3 trips in this 60-day period.
and we have Disney coming up, and
Yeah,
it's just
and then Disney right after we're supposed to be at it. So yeah, it's just weeks of stuff we're doing around also packing the house up and getting, we're definitely getting movers for this one.
yeah.
And it's wild. So again, people are probably like, it's just moving. What's the big deal? I think it came out of the blue,
Oh,
which
yeah,
was
yeah.
the curveball.
And again, this first world problems over here. Like we're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, it could be worse.
There are worse things going on with people, and so we're thankful that we're able to find something. We're just waiting for that, like, oh, we found something moment.
Yeah.
And again, that's all we can do. So we just kind of wanted to give you an update on that and kind of where we've been. I know Caleb's going to get into kind of what the podcast looks like for the next couple weeks, just to kind of go over everything, just to keep you guys in the know.
Yeah, so we'll probably be inconsistent, I'll say at best, for the next 3 to 4 weeks, 3, 4, 5 weeks with everything going on. Again, we're supposed to be packing a house up. We're also managing 2 full-time jobs and raising a child, so it's a lot. I'm thankful we have family that can help with us, but even with that, it's just going to be a lot going on. So we've got a lot of trips coming up and also moving. So just be patient with us, please. Thank you so much for already being patient and your understanding. But for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks, we just might be inconsistent with uploads. We might do one week, we might not the next. So just make sure to follow us over on Instagram, Market House Podcast, for updates. So Caitlin will keep you updated over there on whether there's going to be an upload or not. But again, hopefully by September-ish timeframe, we'll be back to just the normal groove of things, into the new place, and recording as scheduled. So
Yes.
it's just we got to find a place.
Yeah, which we'll find one for sure.
We'll find one. It's just, yeah.
I keep telling Caleb, I'm like, just think in September when we're heading to Disney, it'll all be over and we'll be at Disney and we'll just be like, this
it'll
is
be
all done.
It'll be a well-deserved trip after this whole thing. And let me just say, I think things were different when our parents were growing up, right? Like the order of things was like, okay, you find someone, you get married, you buy a house, you have babies, and that's how you do things, right? So now things are kind of getting like, okay, it's just not like that anymore. Okay, I found someone, I got married, we had a baby, and then now I'm like, okay, it feels like we should buy a home. But when you look around, you go, homes are very expensive. So now I'm like in this weird stage of like, that's all I want now because I don't want this happening ever again because it just interrupts your entire life.
Yeah.
Everything gets put on hold. Everything becomes stressful suddenly. And so.
And it's one of those things as well that when you think about it, again, when you think about buying a home, you go, okay, well, let's buy a home. We might save for a few years. We're going to get it going. This is the area we want to live in. When you're slapped with a 60-day time frame of like, okay, should we just buy right now? Should we just rent right now? Should we just move in with our in-law? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
Should we just, what do we do? And I feel like you don't make, like, your decisions aren't the clearest in that situation.
Everything feels hectic and rushed.
So we're just literally, I think we spent the first week kind of just rattled of like, what do we do? Like, how?
I was very upset at first. And then it was, okay, I want to buy this home. And then running the numbers, talking to people I trust and like doing it. And it was like, don't do that.
Well, it's just,
it's a
bummer too.
terrible time to do this.
It's a bummer too, because like in a normal situation, it would have been fine, but it's just the interest rates are just so crazy.
It makes it wild. It makes the mortgages insane. So long story short, that is what we're dealing with. I apologize for the rambling. We're still processing what's going on, and we'll find a place. We'll move into it, and then we'll buy a home in 26 years.
And we'll keep you updated all along the way.
It'll be a shack in the middle of nowhere.
It's so funny that I remember telling everyone on here, because again, you guys are like family. We've talked about everything on here. I literally remember the podcast episode where we talked about moving in here.
Yeah.
And I remember jumping on stories like when we were moving in and then boom, 4 days later, we're like, we're pregnant.
Yeah.
You guys didn't know that yet, but it's a lot of great memories. So I'm excited to just have the memories and be able to find some place new and start that new page of the adventure book.
Yes.
But
and sign a 3-year lease so we don't have to deal with
oh my
it.
gosh,
I'm
seriously.
just kidding.
So,
All
yeah,
right.
that's all from us. And again, we will keep you updated. Just follow us along over on Instagram. I'll probably be on there, just the whole story thing. So
Cool. Thank you so much for listening. You can find us over on Instagram and Threads at Market House Podcast. Make sure to follow us over there for pictures from the park and exciting news and announcements, and also for posting or not well, the podcast. Consider leaving a review on Apple Podcast and Spotify, both a huge help with the show. We have a Patreon. Join us over there if you would like extra bonus content and to support the show. It means the world to us. Remember to use our Getaway Today link for your future trip bookings. Check out the episode details for that link. Join us next week for I shouldn't say that. Possibly join us next week for another episode or the following.
it's almost like the whole, you know how you don't say goodbye on Disney Cruise Line?
Yes.
You
you say see you real soon?
See you
We'll
real
see you real soon.
Bye.